Hey guys, it's me. It's Philly Pre, and I'm back again with another K-drama review. Now, I literally, just finished this. Maybe 2 minutes ago. Maybe 2 minutes ago. But anyway. And I look crazy. Well, I don't look crazy. I think I look okay. But I mean my eyes. Because I bawled my eyes out. My voice sounds funny. Because I was crying. Almost the entire episode. So, if you already saw the thing, you know what I'm reviewing. And I'm like, at this point, how the heck do you pronounce this? Navillera? I think that's what it is. That's what I'm calling it. And it was just good. And there were some parts, of course, I was mad and this and that, but let's just start off with the logistics of it. It's on Netflix. It's 12 episodes. A couple of episodes went a little over an hour, but average an hour an episode. And I watched it because I thought the subject matter and the topic was different. And I'm all about different. Because as much as I love the dramas and I like, you got the standards where, your love triangles and your this and your that. But I do always enjoy when you have the writers who try something new, take a risk, a different subject, tackle something maybe a little, a difficult topic, or whatever the case may be. And this still has some regular things in it, but it was about a grandfather, Hadabaji, and he was a father, he was a husband, he was, a hardworking guy. He retires, he's 70 years old, he's got 3 grown children, 2 of his kids are married, so he's got, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, he's got a granddaughter, and, he's got a friend in a nursing home and, some of his friends, at that age, you're starting to go to funerals. They realize hey, we're starting to see each other more at funerals than we do any other time because you're losing friends. And, just something I can't 100% relate to because I'm not of that age, but having a mother of that age, I feel like I was able to understand some of it. But he had a dream. It's something that he wanted to do. He wanted to do from younger. His dad was against it, and so he didn't do it, and then life happened. And that I can relate to, kids and marriage and kids and, you get a job, it may not be what you love, but you do it to make ends meet. You struggle, you fight, you can't give your kids everything that you want, but you're doing your best. And, I get it. And, he did all this and, he was a postal service worker for 40-something years or whatever. And, he finally retires and now he's home. And then one of his good friends dies. And, you see him walking one day and he ends up at this dance studio. And, you think, hey, he just he heard the music or something attracted him to walk in here. And he sees this young guy dancing and he's doing ballet and it's beautiful and it's graceful. And, he leaves and he doesn't stay. And then he comes back another time and he's the guy's why are you, young guy's kind of cocky. Why are you watching me? He's because I want to do ballet. And they're looking at him what? So long story short, you've got basically a 70-year-old man who wants to learn ballet for the first time in his life. And as someone who's taken ballet before, not professionally, but, I've taken ballet. I was never great at it, but I know it requires a lot of the body and technique and time and, just a lot. And at 70 with aches and pains, and it can be difficult to learn. So all that to say, he pleads his case, and the young guy's well, if you could do such and such and hold it for a minute or some astronaut, I think it was a minute or something, then I'll teach you. And, but you need to practice and you need to, whatever. And then, his teacher was why are you being so hard on him? And he was well, if he really wants to learn, he needs to know how to do that. And long story short, he starts learning ballet. So of course that means he passed the test, which the young guy was like, what? So his name was Cherok. So he would call him Cherokee, Cheroka, whatever he would call him. And I thought it was so adorable whenever he said his name. But then, the Hanabuji meets certain obstacles, because now his family is against it. Well, not everybody in his family, but his oldest son is like against it, and his wife is against it. And, and they're just giving him a hard time. Why don't you just go hiking? And why don't you just sit home and watch TV? And I'm thinking, y'all are pissing me off. This man dedicated his life to a job for 40 years. He dedicated himself to taking care of his family, raising his kids, doing his best to keep whatever type of roof it was over his kids, heads. He couldn't give them everything, but he did what he could do. And he wasn't a slouch. He wasn't just like a bum. He was a hard worker. Now he's retired. These are his golden years. He should be able to enjoy them. But I do understand, to a degree, there are different, different cultures, things are different. And it was something that I didn't know, and I'm hoping I'm saying this correctly, but I hadn't, talked to my Korean teacher one time, and I was like saying something about something I was going to do or something my mom was going to do. And we kind of got on the subject of like, in Korean culture, like of a certain age, like it's just certain things like, you don't do that, or you shouldn't do that, or it's not acceptable for you to like, do certain things. So I'm assuming that's kind of what's happening in this drama. Like, because he's of a certain age, it's not acceptable for him to want to be like dancing or, taking up something. It's okay to hike. It's okay to, spend time with your friends. It's okay to, sit on the couch with your wife and watch TV. It's okay, I think there's one son bought him like a gym membership. Those things are okay. But that's kind of, I guess, the extent of it, or at least as it's portrayed in the drama, because I don't really know in everyday life in Korea exactly what that means. But, but it broke my heart. And it's like, you know what? After you give your time to your kids and, working and, being there for your family, your wife and this and that, why stifle them? Let them do something that they've always dreamed of that makes them happy or will bring them some type of joy. Because in the end, when it's their golden time and their golden years and you don't know how many years they may or may not have left, it should be anything that brings them joy, as long as they're not harming someone else. You know what I mean? But the family was like worried about what other people would think, being a talk in the neighborhood. And so, I get it, that regard, nobody wants to be. But I was just like, screw what other people think. This is something he really wants to do. Let him do it. But, so he starts practicing and, whatever. But we're going to fast forward because, his family's against it, that he decides he's going to give it up, but he's miserable. He's hiking. He doesn't want to do it. He just doesn't look happy. And I'm looking at his family. I'm like, do you guys not? The one son who was a doctor but quit was the only one that was kind of like, hey, whatever he wants to do. And his daughter-in-law was like, I support him. But I just wanted to see, did they see the look on his face? He wasn't happy. But when he was getting up and going to ballet practice every day, he had a pep in his step. And so I was happy when his family decided, or I think it was his wife, to give it. But and it's so at this point the drama is cute and it's quirky and it's different, and I'm just like, wow, this is so refreshing. And then it happened. They couldn't just let me be great and just enjoy the drama the way it was. Here comes the bomb that was dropped. He has Alzheimer's. So now the young guy who's teaching him ballet finds out. And then eventually he tells the youngest son. And it just, from that point on, I feel like there was like a scene in almost every episode after that I was emotional or crying. And because it was just heartbreaking. Like, he's finally, his family's not fully accepting, but now most of them have given him the okay. And he's doing this, and now this is going to be a hindrance for him. And, And I wanted him to learn. I wanted what was best for him. I wanted him to be happy. He wanted to perform on stage, if just for once. And and there were some other little side stories going on. I'm not even going to focus on that, because if you watched it, you know about that stuff. We could talk about it in the comments if you guys make a dialogue about it, whatever. But I was so focused on this grandfather and his love for his family, his love for his granddaughter, and his love for ballet. And he took it serious. He worked hard. And of course, if you watched it, it's not a spoiler, but this point on is probably even more of a spoiler. But towards the end, it's 12 episodes, but then, so things started happening pretty quickly. Now the Alzheimer's is kicking in. Now he finally gets this chance to perform. And he wakes up and doesn't recognize his wife. And he says, and he's like, asking her, who are you? And he doesn't recognize his son. And I'm breaking down, because I'm like, it can't happen now. He has to perform. In the end, does he perform? Oh, excuse me. Yeah, he does. But the process up to that, having to tell everybody now that he's sick, I guess, like the dance people and the teachers but I will say, Chaddock, advocated for him. It was like, he could do this. Adabaji, you could do this. We worked hard. I have you. I told you I won't let go of your hand. And to see him on stage and to see that dance and see his family and the audience and the emotions, and it was absolutely beautiful. So, it happens. He does what he needs to do, and it's beautiful. And I'm bawling my eyes out. And look at it. I'm still looking all puffy. And then, Chadwick has a competition he needs to leave for. And, he told him now it's your time to soar and do well. And, he does. And they fast forward 3 years and and, the Alzheimer's has really kicked in. He kind of really doesn't know anybody. And it's not a laughing matter, but it's almost adorable, what he's doing. He's basically delivering mail again. But of course he's not really doing it, but he's in the neighborhood. And I just thought the way the writers did that, and the way the wife set it up so that she would always know where he was, because the letters said hey, my husband isn't well, please call this number, if you see him, because he's delivering mail to, to homes. And so I thought that was a genius idea for her to do. And, but it's 3 years later, and guess who's coming home? Yes, Chadwick. And, they're all going to meet up. But Hadabaji kept saying, oh, when is it going to snow? When is it going to snow? And I'm thinking, because, he remembers the snow and he remembers Chadwick. And so when he comes home, will he remember him? And this ending scene, I'm not even going to talk about it because I'm going to cry again, was absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. And I don't know, this, like I said, this drama was refreshing. What it was about, and I always find I enjoy all my dramas, but I really sometimes enjoy the dramas that have a storyline based on an older, more mature character. And this was another one that I thought was very well done. And the ending, and if you've been following me for a little bit, I'm a stickler for my endings, and this ending was awesome. I thought it was very tastefully done, and of course, it made me cry. So if you watch this, did you feel what I felt? Did you cry? I can be a big sap when I'm watching these dramas. I get really emotional, but it just was beautiful. So of course, as always, I like to talk about it. So if you watched it, comment, let me know what you thought, what parts you liked, and some of the side stories that I didn't really harp on, we could definitely talk about those in the comments, with Chadwick's dad, and the soccer club situation that happened, some stuff like that. But before I get ready to wrap this up, I have to give my rating, and I mean, even though the writers did me a little wrong when they gave him Alzheimer's, I was just like, really, really. But even with all of that, like, it was a great drama, so I'm giving it 5 stars. I thought about 4, and I was like, no, because it was great, and then the ending was beautiful. So the ending boosted it, because I love it when the writers know how to end it, because sometimes they just haphazardly just like, and you're like, what was that? But this was tastefully done, and it was beautiful. So it gets 5 stars. So this is Navillera. I hope I'm saying that right. Yes, even if it's English, maybe I'm jacking it up, but whatever. 12 episodes on Netflix. And yeah, I'm saying, if you watched it, tell me what you thought. And if you watch this review and it makes you go watch it, come back and tell me what you thought when you finish, or tell me that you're going to watch it. Yeah, so I guess I should wrap this up, because now I'm just rambling. But in any event, guys, yeah, this is Philly Pre saying, until next time, bye.